What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a very special video to share with you guys. The holiday season is upon us. I love this time of year because I really love buying knives as gifts. If you are, in this knife enthusiast world and you have friends who are kind of, they're kind of interested, but they're not really a full-blown knife guy, well, the holiday season is a great time of year to, take advantage of that and give somebody that you love or care about a fantastic everyday cutting tool. I have 20 items on this list. Yes, you heard correctly. 20 items to share with you guys. These are all ultra inexpensive. They make great stocking stuffers because a lot of them are really small, or just gifts in general. Each one of these items is super affordable. There's definitely something on this list for everybody. Each of these items will be listed in the description with my links, my Amazon affiliate links. So make sure, if you see something in this video that you're like, hey, yeah, that would make a great gift for somebody else or for me, this holiday season, meaning you, not me doing the video. Buy them for your friends or yourselves, not me. But down in the description, you can check that stuff out. Also, down in the description, and I'll actually create a link right here, you can check out my Patreon if you've been enjoying my content and you'd like to help support my channel, and at the same time, get a shout out. If you want me to plug your Instagram or your YouTube channel, or you want me to say something funny, you can follow the link in the description, take a look at my Patreon, have a look around, and then if you'd like to, you can join any tier. The support would absolutely mean the world to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get moving here. We're going to start off with some Victorinox knives. Victorinox knives are fantastic gifts, absolutely. This is the Victorinox Classic here, the thing you've been staring at for the first minute and a half of this video. This is the basic Victorinox. This is like your start, somebody that, you feel like could benefit from just a small EDC cutting tool with a couple of things in there. You've got a small flathead, you've got a file, you've got a regular blade, and you've got a pair of scissors. Awesome, that's basic. Makes an awesome knife to carry around with you, or a backup knife, or just a knife that you leave in your car or your truck. Absolutely. Moving on here, the one that I personally carry as a backup knife, the Victorinox Cadet, specifically the Alox version. This is the aluminum handle with the sort of frag pattern on it. It's got a small and, call it large, flathead, one over here and one over here. This one serves as a pry bar sometimes for me, though I don't think it's actually made like that. Then it's also got a can opener, a file, you could call that a leather punch, and it's got a little bit more of a robust blade. I love this knife, absolutely. Bottle opener, I didn't say that too. Can opener, bottle opener. Fantastic. I use mine all the time. It's been through the dryer 3 times, plenty tough. It's been dropped, stepped on. These are just awesome knives. If you want to go a little bit bigger than that, moving on here, the Victorinox Pioneer is definitely a favorite. This is just, somebody that's like needs a good backup knife or good EDC knife, but maybe they've got a little bit bigger hands. Maybe they just like bigger knives. Same kind of thing. You've got a leather punch, you've got can opener, bottle opener, you've got the large flathead, you've got the small flathead, and you've got the larger blade. A lot of people really prefer this one over the Pioneer. So if you know the person you're going to be giving this to, if they like a larger knife, or they like a multi-blade sort of Swiss Army style knife, this is going to be the one for them. Moving on here, we're kind of getting into more work knives. Somebody who works on a construction site or a job site, maybe they want a good tool, but at the same time, maybe kind of a disposable tool. My personal favorite in this line, the Cold Steel Tough Light. Oh my goodness, I beat the crap out of this knife all the time. It's got the triad lock on it, a simple lockback, fully ambidextrous, has an easy opening hole. It's got a forward choil here so you can get your whole hand around it, but it's small and compact at the same time. This thing is a tank. I cannot emphasize that enough. For how inexpensive it is unbelievably durable, hence the name Tough Light. Moving on here, its little brother, the Mini Tough Light. Also an amazing EDC outdoor work tool. It's just a little bit smaller, but you can still get your hands all the way around it. It has the exact same benefits of the larger one. It's just a little bit smaller blade. A lot of us really don't need a super long blade. It's just something that you can, get out and you can make a cut, you can throw around. If you really want something tough that you don't have to really care about, it's going to take a lot to break it, but if it does break, it's not going to break your heart. These knives are amazing. Moving on here into a Kershaw knife. This is the Kershaw Cinder. Again, it's just kind of an outdoor sort of like almost afterthought thing that you keep in your pocket that's got a blade on it. It's got an easy opening hole. It's a little liner lock, and it's also a bottle opener. You could use that back end as, I suppose in some situations you might be able to use it like a flathead or a little pry bar, but awesome little design. I love this knife. We have a store in town, excuse me, that's newly carrying some of these little Kershaw items. So I've gotten an opportunity here recently to handle them. By the way, a lot of this stuff I haven't reviewed on the channel, but a lot of it I have. So for those of you like, what is this? I thought this was going to be a review video. Now, this is not a review video. I actually do have knife review videos on the channel where I physically handle each knife. If you want to go check those out, you can. I've got a ton of stuff on this channel, so if you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit notifications to all. Moving on here, the Kershaw Shuffle. Everybody knows about this knife. Great little knife. It's got room up here to choke up. It's got absolutely a bottle opener and a flathead screwdriver on the back. Could also double as a pry bar. Simple drop point blade. This isn't going to be ultra premium steel or ultra premium handle materials, but what a great little, just, you know, utility cutting tool to have on your person. Absolutely fantastic, especially for the price. And to kind of lump that in there, it's really, this is going to be the same one, because a lot of you counting are going to go, you're at 21. No, this is, I'm going to lump this one in there. This is the Shuffle 2. It's a little bit bigger. I believe these are all Tantos. They come in, I don't know if they come in different variances, but the one that the shop downtown has is exactly like this with the Tanto. It technically is a compound grind. So you've got two edges there, which some people would make use of, you know, the scraper edge and then the cutting edge. And then it's got this black wash finish. It's a little more, you know, kind of rock pattern cutouts on the scale. So maybe a little bit better texturing. Then you have a different style bottle opener and then flathead screwdriver and pry bar on the other end. Absolutely. Moving on here to a more, actually, no, this is another multi-tool Kershaw. I forgot about this one. This is the Kershaw Barge. More of an absolutely dedicated pry bar on the back end. That would be, this is more shaped to do, you know, your pry tasks. This would be one that would be a little bit more comfortable. If you know somebody that's like, you know, they're going to use a knife in a way that, like, they are going to use their knife for everything. They do not care about the do's and don'ts of folding knives. They're like, I'm going to use that blade to cut and I might use it to pry. Just get them something like this it's a pry bar and a cutting tool on the same thing. They can use the blade for blade stuff. They can use the pry bar for pry stuff. And there you go. It's not going to break the bank if they actually break it. But this is an awesome piece. I believe this was recently discontinued, so grab it while you can. By the way, you know, if you're watching this video at the time that it was intended to come out, you still have enough time before the holiday season hits to get this stuff and have it delivered before Christmas hits. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, no problem. These tools and knives make great gifts for anybody for any occasion. Absolutely. Moving on here, the keychain knife that I was starting to refer to, initially I thought this is a weird little novelty knife, you know, and then my buddy Chris Gonzalez gave me one and I put it on my keychain and I use that thing so often. And when I go to the gym, I don't keep a pocket knife on me. I don't keep anything in my pockets because I keep my phone in there. And so the only knife that I have on me technically is this little Kershaw Bug. And I use it. I use it all the time. It's crazy. I mean, it's super convenient. It's right there. You know, your keys are always with you. This thing weighs nothing. It's literally just a little stainless steel slip joint. Nothing special on the steel, but all you're ever going to be doing with this thing is opening letters, opening packages, or making quick cuts. You know, somebody needs to like use a little blade. This is the most unintimidating pocket knife on the planet. Absolutely. So it's a fantastic gift or stocking stuffer. Moving on here, you know, those of us who have friends who are really into minimalism, or they're all about that style, all about that life, you know, we know who it's are. Some people are legitimately minimalist and some people kind of just like to represent. Whatever. Here's a couple of knives that I think are great gifts for those types of people. This is the Opinel number 8. There's a whole bunch of different Opinels, each number going from the number 1 all the way up to, what is it, 13 or 15 being the biggest one. This one's about 8 inches. It's about a good EDC size. Everybody calls this the picnic knife. It's got a little ring lock, and it's a flat ground blade with a little nail nick in it. I mean, talk about ultra minimalism. This is a great knife to just kind of leave around the house, leave in your vehicle, you know, in your toolbox, whatever. Nothing fancy on this knife, no pomp, no frill. It's just a piece of wood and a blade that pivots with a little ring lock. This is not my favorite knife. I've talked about this before. I've actually listed it as an overrated knife and people jumped on me. They're like, what? At the price, how can you call it overrated? Yeah, you know, I guess they're right. I can't argue with that. You know, it's not my personal favorite, but for some people, they're absolutely going to love this. I guess I got a notification in the middle of that. Sorry about that. But yeah, a fantastic gift for somebody. Moving on here, a knife that I only recently got to handle. I had a local buddy have one of these and surprised me with it. This is the Svord, S-V-O-R-D, Peasant. It's actually the Mini Peasant. This is a little friction folder. You can see this ring right here. It's sort of, as it folds up, for those of you who are not familiar with friction folders, there's no lock. It just folds up, and then as it folds out, friction actually causes this to not lock, but stay in place. And then as you hold it, you can either use your thumb or your palm to sort of hold that down. Much like a slip joint, except it's not really, there's a different type of pressure holding the blade in. In any case, this is a super minimalist design, one with a little bit more kind of fanciness, gentlemanly, I don't know what you want to call it. It's very straightforward, very simple. It's definitely a tool you can just throw around. It's a carbon steel blade, and then you have the sort of plastic handles with the simple flathead pivot and screw back here, the body screw. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Something a minimalist or just a general knife enthusiast might enjoy for one reason or another. Moving on here, I'm actually going to have to change pages. I've got some notes here over to the left. Some fixed blades. My favorite budget or ultra budget fixed blades in the whole world. More Knives. M-O-R-A-K-N-I-V is actually how you spell that. This first one here is the basic. It is just that. It is basically the standard model. These things are unbelievably durable for the price that you're going to pay for them. I do have a review on a couple of them. There are also plenty of destruction videos out there on YouTube that you can watch and sell yourself on them pretty quickly. I did. I actually ended up buying one we're going to talk about here in a second. These things are basic, either stainless or carbon steel, so you can kind of pick what you want there. But, you know, if somebody's going to go out, if they're really going to beat on their knives, and you need something that is going to stand up to that abuse, and if they actually manage to break it, oh well, you know, no big deal. A budget fixed blade is absolutely, I mean, this is like a keep it hanging up in your garage type of knife. Or keep it in, definitely, you know, keep it in the toolbox in your truck or your toolbox in general. I mean, this is fantastic in a lot of different settings. Very inexpensive, and I believe they come in a few different colors. Moving on here, this is the More Knife Companion. A little bit different handle shape, in my opinion, a little bit more ergonomic. There's a little bit more freedom there. Pretty much the same sort of blade. It's ever so slightly different. These are a tad bit more expensive, but they are, in my opinion, a lot more comfortable. So for somebody who's really going to be using their fixed blade for a long period of time, you know, to do more than just make a standard cut, it might be worth it to go just a little bit higher and you know, give them the comfort and convenience of that handle. And then my personal favorite, this is the More Knife Robust. This is basically a bigger, thicker version of the basic. It is hardly more expensive at all. In fact, it's almost exactly the same price. There was a specific video, I watched a video online of the bushcraft guys trying to destroy this knife. Like literally going out of their way, trying to destroy this knife and could not do it. The stuff that they did with this thing was unreal. All they managed to do was barely crack the back of it. But yeah, talk about like your ultimate beater fixed blade. This is going to be, you know, absolutely. If you're trying to find like, you know, somebody who is so abusive with their tools, you're trying to find them a knife that's going to last and not break the bank. If they actually break it, well, here you go. More Knife Robust. Moving on to the final category, the actual EDC folding knives, the classic single blade EDC folding knives category. These are the knives that you would want to purchase somebody if, number one, you know, if you're on a budget, you're trying to get them something, you know, inexpensive, but at the same time, a good example, and maybe kind of teeter them into the folding knife world, or somebody who's already a knife enthusiast and somebody, you know, that you're like, hey, you know, if you haven't tried this, you should check it out. Absolutely. This is the standard CRKT Pilar, nothing special in the steel, and then it's a steel frame lock. My favorite thing about this knife is it's got the little tank feeling, but at the same time, it's super ergonomic. Short little blade, and it's got that choke up, that forward choil there, and it's got the easy access hole. This is basically a fancier cold steel Tough Light that has a steel frame lock instead of the triad lock. If you know somebody that could make use of that size and that shape of knife, but they want something that feels a little bit more high quality than the plastic handles on the Tough Light, I love this knife. Like I said, nothing special on the steel, but I liked it. I thought it was a good knife. Reviewed it a long time ago on this channel. I think it's a fantastic knife for a gift or a stocking stuffer. Moving on here, the Gonzo FH12. Perhaps the very best example of a steel frame lock in the budget world that I mean, this thing actually has fall shut action. This is on bearings. It's a flipper. If you want to get somebody a perfect starter flipper that'll give them, it'll set the bar so high for them. And I know how some people feel about Gonzo knives. They're going to be on this list. Sorry. But you want to give somebody a fantastic example of a good blade shape, a good sized EDC knife, a flipper on bearings that's a frame lock. I mean, you want to get them started in that thing, you know, get them started in the whole like enthusiast, like fidgety kind of part of the knife world. This is where you want to start. This is a great knife. Absolutely recommended. Makes a great gift. Moving on here to one in the exact same position, basically the Gonzo FH41. This might be my very favorite Gonzo knife that exists. Sorry about the break in image type. This is the best image that I could find. They come in carbon fiber, green, blue, and black. Super inexpensive, fantastic blade shape, G10 on both sides, contoured, very simple construction. Seriously, this might be my very favorite Gonzo knife that exists. Absolutely. Moving on here to a knife that everybody is familiar with, the Rake P801. Fantastic steel frame lock. This was what I mean, like if you like the idea of the Gonzo FH12, but you want something that looks a little cleaner, a little nicer, this is right there with it. Fantastic blade shape, a little bit smaller and leaner in profile. It looks like a much more expensive knife than it actually is, especially with the little blue accents here. Big fan of this one, absolutely. Moving on to a classic. Everybody knows about this knife, the Ontario Rat Model 2 in D2 steel. This is the smaller one. I'll make sure that my link is actually the D2 version. This is just like a perfect gift for, if you're like, listen, I just want a basic, good folding knife. That's all I want, is something straightforward, simple, EDC tool. I don't care about fidget factor. I don't care about the enthusiast world. I just want a tool, a single blade, you know, that's all I want. This is the one. Absolutely. I can recommend this knife 1,000 times over. I've talked about this a million times. It's been on 10 plus different top 10 or top 15 lists. Absolutely. If you've never experienced this knife, experience it. If you've experienced it and you want somebody else to experience it, get this knife. Absolutely. And then moving on here to the final knife in my top 20 list, one that I just recently handled, one that I absolutely will be reviewing on this channel to share my in-depth thoughts with you guys, the Kershaw Induction. Oh my goodness, this is such a good knife. And I don't know if it's being discontinued or I have no idea, but I was blown away by this thing. I love the choke up position. I love the shape of it. I love the fact that it's a flipper. I love the little secondary, it's kind of, I'm not really a fan of like secondary locks, but I love that it's out of the way. You know, this is a good design, straightforward. This is a fantastic gift. It's a little bit more expensive than the other knives on this list, but definitely not expensive, you know, if you're looking at like the entirety of the folding knife world. All right, guys. So that's going to be pretty much it. Oh, wait. I have a bonus knife for you guys. That's right. I have a bonus knife to share with you guys. What gift list could be complete without the Rainbow Lady of the Sea? That's right, the Rainbow Lady of the Sea, perhaps the very best gift, not just in terms of folding knives, perhaps the very best gift this holiday season is the Rainbow Mermaid knife. I mean, you have the classic knife, the whole, you know, it of course is a tool, but at the same time, the beauty, the elegance, you know, the craftsmanship. For whatever reason, whatever your reason is for giving this gift, I will include it down in the description. I use this knife as my dedicated unboxing knife. So every single knife on this channel for most of the life of this channel, or the channel's entirety, this knife has been the dedicated unboxing knife. And you know what? She stood up to it. The grace, the elegance, the precision, the Rainbow Mermaid knife. Guys, that's going to be pretty much it for my recommended Christmas gift or stocking stuffer list. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Like I said, if you'd like to check out my Patreon and support this channel, if you like the continued daily knife content uploads, please check out my Patreon, have a look around, and like I said, you can join any tier. There's stickers, there's Patreon exclusive content, and you can get a shout out right now. So anyways, if you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on this Metal Complex logo right here and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.